Namaste students. In the previous class, we are discussing about the solving of numerical problems on design of synchronous generator. We have already solved two problems. Now, let us consider the third problem. The statement of the problem is as follows. A 1250 kVA, 3 phase, 50 Hz, 3300 volt, 300 RPM synchronous generator with a concentric winding has following data. Specific magnetic loading is BAV equal to 0.58 Weber per meter square. Specific electrical loading AC is equal to 33,000 amps per meter. Gap length, that is length of air gap, is 5.5 millimeter. Field turns per pole, number of turns in the field is 60. Short circuit ratio is 1.2. Effective gap area is 0.6 times the actual area, that is area utilized is around 60% of the actual area. Peripheral speed is 30 meter per second. Find stator core length, stator bore, turns per phase, MMF for air gap, armature MMF per pole, field current for no load and rated voltage. So these are all the parameters we need to find out from the given data. The first step is you need to find out the synchronous speed, that is ns. What is synchronous speed? So it is given that speed is given as 300 rpm. So it is in rpm. So in all the equations we have the speed is in rps. So 300 divided by 60, that is 5 rps. So number of poles P is equal to, so we need to calculate. What is the equation for to calculate the number of poles? So P is equal to 120 F by P, correct. Ns is equal to 120 F by P. So P is equal to 120 F by Ns. So 120 into F is 50 Hertz divided by Ns, correct. Ns is 5 RPM. So you will be getting around 20 number of poles. So output coefficient C naught is given by 11 into kW. kW is 0.955. So since if it is not given in the problem, you can write it as assuming the winding factor, stator winding factor as 0.955. We can write it in the sentence wise. So 0.955 into 0.58 is the specific magnetic loading, that is BAV, into 33,000, that is specific electrical loading, into 10 to the power minus 3. So you will be getting around 201 is the output coefficient. So product D square L is equal to Q divided by C naught into Ns. So Q is 1250, don't convert into VA. So divided by C naught is 201 into Ns. Ns is 5 RPS. So you will be getting 1.245 meter cube. So next we have D is equal to VA by 3 pi into Ns. So VA is equal to, the equation is VA is equal to pi D into Ns. So from that D is equal to VA divided by pi into Ns. So VA is peripheral speed is given by 30 meter per second. So 30 divided by 3.14 into Ns is 5 RPS. So which is equal to 1.9 meter. So the D value is 1.9 meter. So length of the core length is given by 1.245. So 1.245 you will be getting from here. So product D square L. So 1.245 divided by D square. D square is 1.9 into 1.9. So you will be getting 0.345 meter L. So area per pole is pi into D into pi dl by P. So pi d L by P. So pi into D is 1.9 and L is 0.345 divided by P. So it is 20. So we will be getting 0.103 meter square. So that is the area per pole. Next flux per pole is 0.58 into 0.103. So 0.58 is the specific magnetic loading. So that is BAV. 0.58 into area per pole is 0.103. So the product of that one is flux per pole. So that is 59.7 into 10 to the power minus 3 Weber. Next voltage per phase, E phase is equal to 3300 divided by root 3. So this is a line voltage, you need to convert into phase voltage. So that is 1910 volts voltage per phase. Next turns per phase, T phase is equal to 1910 into 1000. So that kVA you have converted into this voltage per phase, correct, 1910, that is phase voltage, divided by 4.44 into F into 59.7 is the flux per pole into 10 to the power minus 3 is there. So that I have taken in the numerator. So 59.7 into kW, that is 0.955. So we will be getting turns per phase as 150. So current per phase, I phase is equal to 1250 kVA. So 1250 into 1000. So it is in terms of VA divided by root 3 into voltage. Voltage is 3300. So that is the line voltage. So current per phase, I phase equal to 219 amps. So armature MMF per pole, we can calculate ATA. We can have the equation 2.7 into 219. So that is I phase into 150 is the T phase into kW divided by P. So we will be getting 4240. If you solve this one, armature MMF per pole is given by ATA is equal to 4240. Next, effective area per pole. So effective area per pole is 60% of the total area, that is area per pole, correct. So it is given in the problem. So effective area per pole is 60% of the area per pole. So 0.6 into 0.103. So you will be getting 61.8 into 10 to the power minus 3 effective area per pole. So effective gap density, that is kg into bg. Effective gap density is kg into bg equal to 59.7 into 10 to the power minus 3. So that I have taken in the denominator and divided by effective area per pole. So it is 61.8 into 10 to the power minus 3. So 61.8 10 to the power minus 3 I have taken in the numerator. So we will be getting 0.966 Weber per meter square. That is the effective gap density kg into bg. So MMF for air gap is given by 800,000 into 0.96. So what is 0.96? So 0.96 is the here effective gap density, that is kg into bg. So into 5.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. So 5.5 is into 10 to the power minus 3. If you use what is that, Lg, length of the air gap. So MMF for air gap is formula is 800,000 bg into kg into Lg. Lg is 5.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. So after substituting this one and solving, so you will be getting 4250 amps. So field MMF per pole at no load, that is ATF naught, which is equal to 1.2 into 4250. So that is the field MMF per pole at no load, ATF naught. So which is equal to 5100 amps. Field current at no load is 5100 divided by 60. So 60 is the number of slots. So 60 if you divide, so you will be getting 85 amps field current at no load. So that is the equations. Next, we need to learn about the design of rotor. So rotor of a synchronous generator. So flux in the pole body, flux in the pole body of the rotor phi p is given by leakage coefficient of the flux into useful flux per pole. So leakage coefficient multiplied by useful flux per pole. So leakage coefficient is given by C suffix L and flux, useful flux per pole is phi. So flux in the pole body is calculated as phi p equal to CL into phi. The value of leakage coefficient CL lies between 1.15 to 1.2. So for the solving of the problem, so we need to take the value of leakage coefficient CL as 1.15 to 1.2. So area of cross section of the pole body AP is equal to phi p divided by BP. So area of cross section of the pole body AP can be taken as phi p divided by BP. The flux density in the pole body BP has permissible value of 1.15 to 1.7 Weber per meter square. So flux density in the pole body BP, you can take it as around 1.15 to 1.7 Weber per meter square. For rectangular pole AP, you can take it as 0.98 into LP into BP. So normally for rectangular poles AP, that is area of the pole body, is taken as 98% of the LP into BP. So the axial length of the pole LP equal to almost equal to the gross stator core length, that is L, by considering the stacking factor as 0.98. For circular poles, area of the pole body, area of cross section of the pole body is taken as 3.14 divided by 4 into BP square, that is pi into BP square divided by 4. That is circular poles, correct. Next, height of the poles can be calculated as So in that height of the pole, first you need to calculate from no load field MMF. No load field MMF ATF naught is calculated as short circuit ratio into ATA. ATA is armature MMF per pole. So no load field MMF ATF naught can be calculated as it is a multiplication of short circuit ratio into armature MMF per pole. So armature MMF per pole ATA is 2.7 into IPF into TPF into KPF. So IPF is the phase current and number of turns per phase, that is TPF, and KPF divided by number of P. So K and copper area of the field winding is calculated as it is a ratio of full load field MMF to current density in the field winding. So it is equal to full load field MMF is ATFL. Full load field MMF is ATFL divided by current density in the field winding, that is delta F. So value of delta F can be calculated as 3 to 4 amps per millimeter square. So value of current density of the field winding is taken as 3 to 4 amps per millimeter square. Total space required for the winding is copper area divided by space factor. So whatever the total space required for the winding, that is rotor winding, is given by it is a ratio of copper area which is present in that one divided by space factor. So height of the winding HF is height of the field winding HF is calculated as, so field winding is in the rotor side, correct. Height of the field winding HF is calculated as it is a ratio of total winding area divided by DF, where DF is the depth of the field winding. So DF is the depth of the field winding. So total winding area divided by DF. So we have MMF per meter height of the field winding is given by 10 to the power 4 into SF into DF into QF under square root. So these terms are under square root. So it is a power 0.5, that means it is under square root. So 10 to the power 4 into SF into DF into QF under power 0.5. So that is a MMF per meter height of the field winding. So height of the field winding HF can be calculated as ATFL into 1000 into 10 to the power 4. So you can see here it is a 10 to the power 4. So ATFL into 10 to the power 4 divided by square root of SF into DF into QF. Square root of SF into DF into QF. So height of the field winding we can calculate also from this formula, where SF is the copper space factor. SF is the copper space factor and DF is called as a depth of the winding and QF is loss per unit surface, that is W meter per second square. W per meter square. So that is the notations. SF is copper space factor and DF is the depth of the field winding and QF is the loss per unit surface. So you can see here that is the magnetic circuit for salient pole synchronous machine. So this is the length of the air gap, stator and rotor. So length of the air gap. So this is taken as core length, that is L. So this is the depth of the yoke, and this is core horizontally it is core length, and this is the length of air gap, that is LG. So you can see here that is the depth of the slots. So this is the height of the pole, that is HPL, height of the pole, that is HPL. So these are all the poles. So in that poles, so this is a HPL, that is height of the pole. So HPL is a radial length of the pole, or you can say height of the pole or radial length of the pole, which is equal to HF plus H1 plus 0.02. HF is height of the winding, that is HF. So HPL total it is taken as HF, that is height of the winding, plus H1 is height of the pole shoe, and plus 0.02. So 20 mm is the height of flanges. So to connect the cables and all, so flanges and spools are used, which is the small extension which is given in the field winding to connect the cables. So that is 20 mm, you can say it is an extension. So it is a height of the flanges. So therefore height of the pole body HP is given by HF plus 0.02, that is height of the field winding plus height of the winding plus 0.02, that is around 20 mm. So we will solve some numerical problems based on that one. Let us continue with solving the problems. So problem a 2500 kVA, 225 rpm, 3 phase 60 Hz, 2400 volt star connected salient pole alternator has following design data. Its rating is 2500 kVA, 225 rpm, 3 phase, 60 Hz, 2400 volt, star connected, salient pole alternator has following design data. Stator bore is 2.5 meter, core length is 0.44 meter, slots per pole per phase is 3, conductors per slot is 4, circuit per phase is 2, that is 2 circuits per phase, and there are 4 conductors in each slot. So leakage factor is given by 1.2, winding factor is 0.95, and flux density in the pole core is 1.5 Weber per meter square. Winding depth is 30 millimeter. Ratio of full load field MMF to armature MMF is 2. Field winding space factor is 0.84. Field winding dissipates 1800 watt per meter square of inner and outer surface without the temperature rise exceeding the permissible limit. Leave 30 mm for insulation, flanges and height of the pole shoe along the height of the pole. So you need to leave the 30 mm as the extension for insulation, flanges and height along with the height of the pole shoe, along the height of the pole, along the height of the pole and along the height of the pole shoe. Find flux per pole, length and width of the pole, winding height and pole height. So you need to find out the flux per pole, length and width of the pole, winding height and pole height. So these are all the parameters you need to find out. So first is you need to calculate the synchronous speed, that is ns. So the speed is given by 225 rpm. So 225 rpm is in terms of meter, rotation per minute. So if you divide by 60, you will be getting 3.75 rps. So number of poles is 2f by ns, correct. So to calculate the number of poles, you need to have the equation 2f by ns. So 2 into 60, that is the supply frequency, in divided by ns as 3.75. So that is 32 is the number of poles. So total number of slots, you can take it as slots per pole per phase is given by 3, correct. So in the question it is given that slots per pole per phase is given by, slots per pole per phase is given by 3. So you can multiply with the 3 into number of poles into 3 phase. 3 is the number of slots per pole per phase and 32 is the number of poles into 3 phase. So you will be getting total number of slots as 288. Total number of conductors Z is equal to 288 into 4, correct. So there are slots, there are 4 conductors per slot. So in the problem it is given that conductors per slot is 4. So you need to calculate the total number of conductors as 288 into 4. So you will be getting 1152. So next calculate the turns per phase, that is T phase, which is equal to 1152 divided by 3 into 2. So that is 6, you have to divide it by 6. So 3 phase with each number of turns means 2 conductors, correct. So number of turns means, one turn means 2 conductors. So 1152 divided by 6, 3 phase into 2 conductors per slot, turn. So you will be getting 192, that is the total number of turns per phase. Voltage per phase E phase is equal to 2400 divided by root 3. Voltage per phase E phase equal to 2400 divided by root 3. So you will be getting 1390 volts. So we have equation E phase is equal to 4.44 phi into T phase into F into kW. Actually this is the equation by considering only one one parallel path or one circuit. So here A is there. So A is actually it is divided by A. Actually it is T phase divided by A in the formula. But since in the previous all the problems we have only one circuits or one parallel path, correct. So but here here it is given in the equation that there are 2 circuits per phase, correct. So if you see here there are 2 circuits per phase. So you need to consider the A value. So E phase, this is the equation. So if you substitute the value from that, you can calculate the flux per pole. Flux per pole phi is equal to 1390, that is E phase, 1390 E phase into A, correct, that is 2 circuits per pole, divided by 4.44 into T phase is 192 into frequency 60 Hz into kW is 0.95. So you will be getting 57 into 10 to the power minus 3 Webers, that is the flux per pole. So flux in the pole body phi p equal to CL into phi. CL is the leakage factor. So leakage factor is 1.2 into 5. 5 is 57 into 10 to the power minus 3. So that is the flux in the pole body. So you will be getting 0.0684 Weber. So area of the pole body. So that is area of the pole body. AP is equal to 5P divided by BP. So 5P is 0.0684 divided by BP. That is 1.5. So it is given that flux density is 1.5. So you can calculate the area. Area you will be getting 0.0456 meter square. So next, length of the pole body LP is equal to the length of the armature core, which is equal to 0.44 meters, correct. So 0.44 meter, which is given that length of the pole body. Next, width of the pole body BP is given by 0.0456 divided by 0.44. So 0.44 you will be getting here. So length of the pole body, that is LP is 0.44 meter, correct. So if you divide that one 0.0456, that is area divided by length, you will be getting the width, that is BP, width of the pole body, that is 0.1036 meter. Next, current in each phase, I phase is given by 2500, that is kVA rating of the machine, 2500 into 1000, that is VA, divided by root 3 into 2400 volts. So 2400 volts, so you will be getting 600 amps as a current in each phase, that is I phase. So here current in each conductor IZ is nothing but there are two parallel path or two circuits. So we can calculate the current in each conductor is IZ is equal to 600 divided by 2. So that is 300 ampere. Next, you need to calculate the armature MMF per pole. Armature MMF per pole ATA, the equation is given by 2.7 into I phase. I phase here 300 amps because it is current in each conductor into 192. 192 is the T phase, correct. So T phase 192 you will be getting here. Yeah, 192 is T phase. So T phase into 0.95. 0.95 is the kW value divided by number of poles. So that is the armature MMF per pole. So we will be getting 4617 amps, 4617 amps. You will be getting the armature MMF per pole. So field MMF as full load is ATFL. ATFL is full field MMF at full load is 2 into 4617. So we will be getting 9234. So field MMF, what is the value? 2 times the, so here it is given. Ratio of full load field MMF to armature MMF is 2. So ratio of full load field MMF to armature MMF is 2. So you need to multiply with the 2 value. It's correct. So multiply with the equation 2 value. So here field MMF at full load is ATFL equal to 2 into 4617. So you will be getting 9234 amps. So MMF per meter height of the winding is given by equation 10 to the power 4 under square root of SF into DF into QF. So 10 to the power 4 square root of SF, DF and QF. So 10 to the power 4 into SF is 0.84, correct. SF is 0.84 into DF is depth of the winding 0.03 into QF is 1800 under square root. So what is that? 0.84. So if you see here 0.84 is given. Field winding space factor 0.84. Field winding dissipate 1800 watt per meter square. So that is the thing. So here that value you have to substitute. If you substitute that value, so you will be getting their depth of the winding is 3 mm, it is given. So correct. So that value you have to substitute and we will be finding the MMF per meter height of the winding is given by 67,300 amps. Height of the field winding HF is given by 9234, that is field MMF at full load, that is ATFL divided by this one MMF per meter height of the winding. So this is the total height. So this is MMF per meter height of the winding. So you will be getting height of the field winding is 0.137 meter. So height of the pole, height of the winding plus height of the insulation. So together height of the insulation also we need to consider. So it is 0.137 plus height of the insulation is 3 mm. So 0.03. So we will be getting 0.14 meter. So that is the height of the field winding. That is the solution of this particular problem.